on my thing yet. Okay guys, trying to get this going. I don't have it on my iPad yet, so I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I don't know if anybody's answering any questions, but I will check it out here. Let me see what's going on. Okay, just trying to get it up. So hopefully you guys can hear me now. So I need a little IT help over here because my iPad isn't picking up my feed. Yeah, let me see if I can get on my,
Is it working now?
My other device here. Hang on.
Is it working now?
No.
It's still not, the audio is still not working?
No, I can't see what's going on.
Katie,
Hang on.
just ask them if they can hear it.
If you guys, if you can hear it, let me know if you can hear it. My mic is good. So let me see here what I can do on my phone. So let's see. I'm trying to get the live chat going here. Oh, here we go. Now I can see myself. I don't know what happened to my iPad, so I hope you guys hang with me. Oh, good. You guys can hear me now. Yes. So my Christmas was very good, and I'm having another Christmas dinner tomorrow with all the family. And Chuck, how you guys doing? And I did see your video with all the greenhouses you have. Man, you guys have really grown. I'm really impressed with everything that you guys have and how everything looks so wonderful. So I'm glad you guys bared with us here while we're trying to get everything going. Oh, good, a new subscriber. I'm glad you love the channel and you got into hydroponics. And the learning curve from going into hydroponics from soil gardening, it is so much easier for me to do hydroponics. I always had trouble growing stuff in the soil. I always had really bad luck with it. But once I got into hydroponics, because you don't have to deal with the soil and the differences of the nutrients, I mean, you have everything dialed in when you're doing hydroponics. Even if you don't have the Blue Lab, all the bells and whistles that like we have in our commercial greenhouse, you can always control your fertilizers and your pH, and it just makes a huge difference with your plant growth and your production. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Oh, somebody said I look radiant. Oh, thank you. It's been a great Christmas. And like I said, the weather here has been wonderful. We've been like in the 50 degrees right now, and I know we're supposed to get a little bit cooler coming on, but next couple days, but it was really nice. And I hope you guys all had a really Merry Christmas, and I'm looking forward to the new year. Already getting some things planted and ready to start for my farm market in the summer, because you know you have to start your peppers and your tomatoes early so they grow all winter long and ready to pop out in May and June when the first markets come aboard, because you want to make sure you have everything that your customers expect you to have. So let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, Crop King grower class. If you looking to do Crop King, that's where I started because I had no experience growing, and the grower class really helped me a lot. They were very informative of what I needed to do, and since I bought a lot of stuff from Crop King, to this day, they always help me. I always call them up, and they're there to help me out with any questions I have, from nutrition to pests to the environmentals in the greenhouse. So yeah, Crop King is a really good place to start. Let's see.
Sure.
Let's see, stabilizing the pH. Keep getting into the 70s. What kind of? Hopefully you're using some kind of acid to lower your pH down, because I use battery acid to lower mine down, and it really makes a difference to get it dialed in, because the nutrients, plants can't take up the nutrients unless the pH is at the right range. So I know tomatoes like it at 6.0, and my lettuce and all my leafy greens, I tried to keep that at 5.8. And I noticed that if it goes up higher, they don't take up the nutrients like they need to do. So hopefully that answers your question. But I've had my plants go up above 7.0, because when my water comes out of the tap, because we actually have city water here, we don't have well water, it comes out at like 7.5. But I have to be really careful with that, because there is a lot of chlorine in it, so I have to make sure it off gases when I do a nutrient change. So any other questions, guys? Keep coming with the questions. If not, I'll just sit here and ramble on and have my Guinness. Is it going? So let's see what else here. Oh, what is my beverage this evening? It's a Guinness, one of my dad's favorite. My dad was from Belfast, County Antrim, Northern Ireland, and he always loved his Guinness. So that's one of the things I tried to drink at Christmas time with him. He lived to be 96, and he drank a Guinness up to about 2 weeks before he passed away. So that's one of our family traditions. So another thing that we like to do at Christmas time is my husband and my daughter like to do espresso martinis, something they're going to be doing tomorrow, because we're having a big family dinner. So we're looking forward to that. Let's see, using citric acid. I've never heard about using citric acid for stabilizing pH. Like I said, I use battery acid, which is, yeah, sulfuric acid. And that really makes a big difference in stabilizing the pH. Yeah, because you only need a tiny bit to go, it goes a long way. So when I mix it into my 50-gallon tank to go into my for my nutrient system for my leafy greens, I think I put in maybe half a gallon for 50 gallons, and it lasts me a couple months. Or it depends how many plants I have growing here, how many times I do nutrient changes. But it's a really cost-effective way to adjust your pH. Can you use regular tap water in hydroponics, or do you need RO? I use tap water because that's what I have. And the only thing I have to really worry about is the chlorine, because there's so much chlorine in the tap water. So when I do a nutrient change, I let the system run for a while before I put it back out to the plants. So I always do a nutrient change at nighttime, because then the plants are less susceptible to not having enough water. And it off gases all the chlorine by the morning, and then I'm able to put it out to the plants. Because there's been times where I didn't do that, and I put the chlorine water out to them, and their roots turned brown. After a few days they came back, but it did stunt my plants for a little bit. So you have to be really careful with the tap water. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, more Merry Christmases. And I'm looking forward to the new year, and I hope everybody is too. And my tomatoes are about that big, so I can't wait to get them a little bit stronger and get those in the beetle buckets. Planted some peppers in the beetle buckets. Hopefully you guys saw some of the videos, and they're doing wonderful. Got some cucumbers going. I don't have a lot of stuff in the beetle buckets right now that I don't have the lights on, because the electricity costs have gone up so much, and I'm not selling a lot in the wintertime. I've kind of slowed down. The summertime is really my busy season. It used to be the wintertime, but now it's the summertime. So. Let's see, any other questions, guys? Keep coming with the questions. So like I said, I hope you guys like my vintage Christmas tree behind me. It's one of the fun things I put up every year. And actually, I leave it up through March, because I decorate it for Valentine's Day. And I take it all down, and I make everything green and decorate it for St. Patrick's Day. So let's see what else is going on here at the farm. Well, we've been taking care of the cattle. Everybody's been doing really well. They've been surviving pretty good. We did have some really big cold snaps. So it's gotten a little bit warmer. So I'm just wondering what the rest of the winter is going to be like. Okay, I have a small greenhouse, and I keep it between 60 and 65 degrees for houseplants. What temperature range do I work with? So in temperature range I do for the main greenhouse is daytime, it's anywhere between 68 and 72 degrees. Then we drop it back down at nighttime, and it goes between 63 and about 65. That's the temperature range. It seems to work really well for my plants. And I've been doing that for about 10 years. We do ramp it up and down. I don't know the time schedule when we do that because you like to crash it at nighttime. So that helps keep the powdery mildew and everything else at bay. So if you drop it, really crash it really quick in the nighttime and then have it slowly go back up again before daylight. It works really well for the greenhouse. So if you have that question again, just text it to me or leave me that comment and I'll get back to you with the exact times we do everything. Let's see. Oh, can you just let tap water sit in a bucket for 24 hours to move those chemicals? That does work if you let it sit. But it does need to be circulated a little bit because it have them off gas. So, somebody just said they wishing me a Merry Christmas from the downstairs water closet. Merry Christmas. Strawberries, right now I'm not producing any strawberries because we are very cold and I don't have heat in my high tunnel. And also with strawberries, you need them to go dormant. They're a plant that can't produce all year round. They need that dormancy in the wintertime when the lights are low, you know, you have the short days. So right now my strawberries are dormant and I'm clipping them all back. It's taken me a little while, but I'm getting them all clipped back. And then once it gets back into April and the days are a lot longer and the heat starts rising in the high tunnel, then I'll get them back into production again. So like I said, strawberries need that downtime to regenerate and keep their roots nice and healthy, and then they can start producing again. Because if you let them go the whole time, they just kind of peter out and don't do anything.
We can talk about
Oh, okay, so you use pH up solution. I don't think that's working for me. I'm going to check on phosphoric acid. Okay, let me know how that works for you. And I just wanted to let you know, just the other day, we went to our local produce supply company, which is Yoder's Produce Supply. They're down in Fredericksburg, Ohio, and they always have a great deal. If you buy all your stuff for the year, in December, they give you an 8% discount. So I went down there just on Tuesday and ordered all my perlite I need, new plastic for the high tunnel, some other nutrients, and just a bunch of other pieces, parts I need, and also for my flowers, because I'm starting to get really into flowers. It's my new hobby. So I ordered some new baskets, cocoa baskets, and then some new cocoa liners. So went down there on Tuesday and put my order in, got my 8% discount, and I'll pick it up in January all at once. So it's a really good idea to get all your stuff, all your inventory parts early if you have a great deal like that. So let's see what other questions we have. No, Chuck, I haven't used a hedge trimmer yet. That's definitely what I have to do because it was taking so long with those little clippers. My hands were getting tired. I have arthritis in them and they were getting very tired. So yeah, I'm definitely going to use that clipper idea because that's a great idea. Let's see. So what is the best light intensity for greens such as lettuce, spinach, and chard? Well, right now I don't have any lights in my greenhouse for that part of my growing, and I just let the natural light come in. And all you have to do, remember, is that in the wintertime, it does take a couple weeks, up to 3 weeks, 4 weeks longer for your chard or lettuce to grow compared to the summertime. So like I have a nice mix that I use, it's called 5-star lettuce mix I purchased from Johnny Seeds. And in the summertime, I can get that up to a nice size in 4 weeks. In the wintertime, it takes me almost 7 to 8 weeks. So you just have to remember that you don't have the long days with the light, so you just have to adjust your seeding schedule accordingly. No, I do not sell any live plants at the farmer's market. One year I tried to do hanging baskets with strawberries in them, and they were okay, but it wasn't a big seller. Now there's a couple other vendors around me that do sell live plants, so I stick to my lettuce and my greens, my tomatoes, strawberries, and this year I did some cantaloupes, and I'm just always trying something new. And for the next farm market in the fall, in September and October, I'm going to try to do some gourds outside. So it's not going to be hydroponic, but I want to do some gourds because that's always so festive to have something different outside. But everything else that I grow hydroponically just sells really well. And so I don't really try to do any live plants. I know people always look for my cucumbers. That's a really big seller, the English cucumbers. I always bring a big cooler with about 100 of them, and I usually sell out every time. So those are some of the things I grow for the farmer's market, which is the best time of the year. It's so much fun when you go sit in the farmer's market. Now your regular customers that have become friends over the past 10 years come and see you, and they bring you lunch, or they bring you snacks, or bring you an iced tea when it's a hot day out. So it's always just a good old time to sit at the farmer's market. Even though it's a pain getting up at 5 in the morning, but it's only once a week, so it's not so bad. Okay, guys, come on. Some more questions for me. I have to drink my beer. And then after this, I have some brie baking in the oven as a little treat. So tomorrow I have to go out in the greenhouse. I have some seeding to do, and I do a CSA program for the wintertime. And tomorrow I'm seeding beet greens, which is a really nice, versatile green that you can either eat raw or you can cook it. And when you harvest it, you can just smell how sweet it is. So it's not the actual beet, you don't get a beet ball, but you get the tall greens, and they're really beautiful red. And this week I'm harvesting Rosie, which is a type of a pak choi plant, which is red, and it's really a nice Asian green. Last week I did bok choy, little mini bok choys, nice little green ones, which go over really well. And then I also have growing some rainbow Swiss chard, because everybody likes that in the wintertime. It's always good to put in soups or just fry it up. My favorite way to do Swiss chard is to have it in an omelet.
Talk about your peppers.
The pH down by Crop King is phosphoric acid. I'm not sure what Crop King is selling. Well, I'm glad you like my content, and I'm glad you've learned so much. And my plants look great. Thank you. Oh, the beer, again, it's a Guinness. It's a nice dark Guinness. So I have all my not all my pepper plants. I have some of my pepper plants growing. And peppers for me are so interesting when you go to germinate them. Some germinate like in 2 weeks. Other ones take 3 weeks. Other ones take 4 weeks. There are always these different sizes as you germinate them. So if you're planting peppers in your oasis cubes, that's what I use. If you don't see a seed, sprouting, just let it sit for a while, and I usually get 100% germination. And I also have spinach growing. Oh my gosh, love the spinach. So I have some new ones started to get ready to go into channels. And if you guys have problems sprouting spinach in hydroponics, I have a couple videos up on YouTube that show how I sprout it using paper towels and hydrogen peroxide, and it works really well. It's a little time consuming, but you don't waste your growing medium, because if you just put the seeds in your growing medium, maybe you get 20–30% germination. So you're better off sprouting them in the paper towels and taking tweezers and plopping them into your oasis cubes at that time. So it's a little interesting, different things, little tricks I've learned over the years. Another trick that I don't think I've talked about on YouTube is, iron. It doesn't really stay suspended in the nutrient solution, and sometimes the plants can't take it up. And Jim Brown from Crop King told me this years ago, if you see your plants getting a little yellow and it's not time for nutrient change, take a teaspoon or 2 of iron and put it in your nutrient tank. And I do that, and your plants just green right up. It's little tips and tricks you learn over the years from different people. So that's why it's always good to check out YouTube and talk to a bunch of different people about how they do everything. And I've got a good network of people that I talk to. Oh yeah, and definitely check out Fenster Farms. Chuck is amazing. He has given me so many good insight and tips on how to grow spinach in the summertime, which was a big seller in my farm market. And he is, his place, I don't know how many greenhouses he has now, like 10, 12 or something like that. Every time I see him, he's got a new greenhouse going up, and he's just growing more and more things. And then he's got chickens in another greenhouse, and he's doing eggs. It's just amazing, everything he's doing out there. So it's really cool. So like I said, check him out. He's really got some good ideas. Let's see. Oh, Delbert. Okay, I didn't know you were 2 bears. I'm sorry. I get confused. I'm trying to read everything. Hope everything's going well with you, and I wonder how the weather is up there in upstate New York. Did you guys get the freezing rain or anything like they were predicting? We just got a bunch of rain. So let's see, anything else, guys? What else could I talk about? Let's see. Been seeing lots more deer around the property. They've been encroaching back here by the house, so I'm gonna have to make sure they don't come and eat my bushes. And Katy and the dog, he's been my best buddy, running around everywhere, and keep me company. He keeps trying to come in the greenhouse, and he knows he's not allowed in there because I got to keep everything clean. But he keeps trying to sneak in every once in a while. He's laying over here at my feet. So I've did my raised beds with my flowers this past summer, and I really had good luck with that, and I'm getting into the cut flowers. And then this year, we do have a mulch layer, so I'm thinking I am going to do a mulch layer I have garlic in one spot right now, which I already planted for this year, and I want to do potatoes, because I really like doing the potatoes. So I had the raised bed from Vigo Gardens that I did potatoes in, but it wasn't quite enough for everybody in the family. Were like, well, you have to grow some for us. And so I'm going to do a whole mulch layer with raised bed with the drip line in the middle to do the potatoes. And then, like I said earlier, I'm going to do gourds, and I want to maybe do some pumpkins and a few different melons and different things in the raised beds, just trying to diversify a little bit. So, like I said, the farm market is my main thing that I like to do, and how much fun it is. And and I put the trellis system up. Hopefully you guys saw the video on the trellises I did, because that worked really well for the melons, and I did a couple tomato plants at the end there. And I'm going to put a few more in, because I really want to capitalize on the melons. I like doing the cantaloupes and the honeydews. They went over really big at the farm market. And of course my strawberries I think that's my favorite thing to grow, is my strawberries, and then the lettuce. But the strawberries are just so much fun. You go out there and you see all these big, beautiful strawberries growing. You got the big flowers. And it was so sad this fall, or the early winter here. The strawberries were growing really well, and then all of a sudden the bottom dropped out and the temperatures just dropped, and it just froze everything. And I had so much fruit that was like that big, just almost ready to pick, and they froze. It was like so sad cutting them all off and throwing them away. But I guess that's the cycle of life. Okay, let's see what other questions. The only good thing about hydroponics is that my chickens can't get into my soil garden. I know how chickens are, and goats are just as bad. Houseplants, I don't really like houseplants that much. I don't really end up taking care of them because I'm out in the greenhouse all the time, and I always forget about my houseplants. So I don't really have anything here in the house, just a few little ones here and there. And I do have an African violet in the greenhouse, because my grandmother-in-law always grew African violets, and she always used to give them to me, and so I had to get one in memory of her. So it was kind of cool. Oh, I'm glad you did the melon trellis. Oh, when adding nutrients, does it lower the pH? Yes, it does. When you add nutrients to your water, yes, it does lower the pH. But usually for me, it's not enough to lower it down. So I do need the pH adjust. But everybody's water is different. I know, I think Chuck doesn't have to do anything with pH because he has well water, so he doesn't have to worry about it. And he has a lot of iron in his well water. So there's just different, your different waters. You need to test them to see where they're at before you decide what you need to add. And I know there's Cornell, I think that's the university. You can send a water sample to them, and they'll test it and tell you what your EC is and what your pH is and what micro and macronutrients are already in your water. And I went to Crop King, and they took my water sample, and then they were able to develop my formula for my leafy greens, and also for my tomatoes and my strawberries. So I do have 3 different formulas that I run through my hydroponic system. So I do have 3 different injection type systems. So this way, when you have a formula, you can buy everything in bulk, and it's way cheaper. Let's see. No, nothing else yet. Okay, guys, keep coming with the questions. Otherwise, I'll just sipping my beer. So I wonder if you guys have big plans for New Year's. Usually for New Year's, I like to stay home, make some good food, have a bottle of wine, and just veg out. I don't like driving with all the other crazy people. And living out here in the country, there's nothing really close by to us. So I'd rather, stick at home than doing that for 30 years now. And it's always fun. And we do have a couple of vacations planned, because, everybody always thinks, you have a greenhouse, you can't take a vacation. Yes, you can. So the only problem that we have right now is, we have an oil and gas well on our property. And for some reason, the well is producing a little bit of oil and just a tiny bit of gas. So I've had to keep my temperatures down a little bit. So we're going to have the well treated, which they treat it because paraffin, which is a waxy substance that gets into the well, and it prevents the oil and the gas from coming up through the casings and that. So our well goes down like 4,000 feet. So it's an old well and it's been producing really well, but if you don't keep it treated and keep on top of it, it does slow down. And you know what it always does? It slows down in the wintertime when you need it the most. So we do have a backup wood burner. So we do have wood stacked up just in case that we need to fire that thing up to keep the greenhouse warm. Yep. Let's see. What type of pH and meters do we use? I use the Blue Lab meters, and they work really well. There's an inline one that we have for the dosatron systems, and I forget what the one is called that we have back with my Fertroller. Do you remember what that one's called? Guardian. The Guardian system, yeah. And that's the one that it measures the pH and the EC, and then it tells the bellows to go on if it needs to inject any more of the nutrients or the pH adjust into the water.
You have the handheld too.
Yeah, and I do have a handhold one.
So you check the water coming out of the beta bucket.
Yeah, so I can check, so when the water comes out of the beta buckets, I can check it to make sure the EC and the pH is correct coming out. And no, I've never used bees in my greenhouse because I don't have enough plants to support bees in there. So to pollinate my tomatoes, I use an electric toothbrush. So I just go around every other day, and every flower, you just kind of hit it. Or if I was growing eggplants, you do the same thing, you have to hit it. And you can see the pollen puff out, and it's just a lot easier doing it that way. And so yeah, with the cucumbers, you don't have to pollinate them. And the strawberries, because the strawberries are in the high tunnel and there's always a breeze going through them, I don't have to pollinate them either or worry about bees or anything coming in. So they always self-pollinate. And I did grow strawberries in the greenhouse one year in my NFT channels, and they grew wonderful on the lettuce formula. Lots of beautiful foliage, lots of strawberries, but the problem was they got so big and over the NFT channels, I couldn't pull them out to harvest. So I had to crawl underneath to harvest them. So it's like, no, I'm not doing that again. And then strawberries are also known to attract two-spotted spider mites. And so my whole section I think I had 5 or 6 channels with strawberries, got infected with the two-spotted spider mites. So it's like, nope, I'm never going to grow that in the greenhouse again. So I tried to keep my short-term plants in the greenhouse and my long-term plants out into the high tunnel. Yeah, oh yeah, when I did have the strawberries in the greenhouse with the NFT channels to pollinate them because it wasn't enough breeze. So I just go by the NFT channel and just shake it like that, like every other day, and it pollinated the strawberries, no problem. Like I said, it got some really nice big fruit. But I noticed once we did get them out into the high tunnel and got onto a different nutrient formula, they did much better now. It's getting way bigger fruit. So you just tweaking your nutrients just a little bit really makes a difference with each type of crop. Yeah, I always spend a lot of time in my greenhouse on New Year's Day because I always learned whatever you want to do for the whole year, you have to do it on New Year's Day. See, that's why I spend lots and lots of time out there. Oh yeah, it's stay indoors and start your seeds. It's always fun. And I'm going to start my flower seeds in February and March, so I got to get my orders for those. And the strawberries that I grow is Albion. I used to do Seascape, and I had much better luck with Albion. It's a bigger fruit, and it's more prolific, and I think it's a little bit sweeter, so I had better luck with Albion. So if you're looking for a good day-neutral, ever-bearing strawberry, that's the one I would recommend. Oh yeah, so I use the everbearing because we're growing hydroponically, and you have the June bearing, they're outside, you have the one flush, and that's it. With the everbearing, I get a flush in the early part of the year, and then I get a little bit in the summertime when the temperatures get hot, because once it gets over 85, they quit flowering. But then once it's slow, the temperatures go down at the end of August, and I get strawberries all the way from August to the first hard freeze. And that this year was in the end of November. A couple of years ago, it was the end of December. So that's why I like the everbearing plants. So at the farmer's market, I have strawberries all year round. So when I had them this September, people would walk by like, you have strawberries? It's like, yeah, they're an everbearing plant. A lot of people don't realize that there's a couple different varieties of strawberries. So it makes a big difference at the farm market to have the nice fresh fruit out there. And again, like I said, with the tomatoes, you have those early in the year, and you're like, how'd you get your tomatoes? Oh, in my greenhouse. And they're like, oh, it's hydroponic. They don't have any good taste. I go, well, here, try one and take it home. If you like it, come back next week and buy some more. And I've never had anybody say they were terrible. They always come back and buy my tomatoes. Even once the outside tomatoes come in, I still have a big group of customers that swear by my tomatoes because they do taste so well and they're nice and firm and juicy and you don't get any grainy textures to them. So it makes a big difference with hydroponics. Oh, somebody's going to have a Guinness with me. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you think my strawberries look awesome. Thank you, Delbert. They are good strawberries. Like I said, it was very sad to have them all freeze this year. I wish I could have got out there and got a little bit more. Yeah, and these are my this year is going to be my second year with them, so I'm going to really have some strawberries early. And you know what's good about strawberries later in the season is with the cold nights, the sugar content really ramps up and they taste so much better. You know, in the summertime, and they still taste good, but in the early spring with those cold nights, oh, such sweet strawberries. Even in the fall especially, because you get the really cold nights, and even if they're not all the way ripe and you have a little bit white on the top of them, the bottom part is still really nice and sweet. So you get a lot of customers that, you know, once you train them, or not train them, but teach them how the strawberries taste at different times of year, they're like, oh, okay, they have the white tops, no big deal. Because usually when you go buy them in the store, nobody wants the white tops, which I don't blame them, because they're, yeah. So this last year at the farmer's market, oh my gosh, I had to ration out my strawberries because everybody was fighting over them. They would start lining up a half hour before the market started trying to get the strawberries. It's like, oh, come on, calm down. So this year I'm going to grow a lot more. Yep. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh, I'm glad you appreciate what we do. And I love sharing my knowledge, and I'm passionate about growing. You know, before this, I really didn't have a passion until I got the hydroponic greenhouse. It just is so much fun. Oh, I'm glad you like my aluminum Christmas tree. It is so cool. Revenue breakdown between them. I really haven't done anything like that to go between all of my different crops, but maybe something I probably should do because my accounting husband thinks I should have a breakdown and know what the profit margin is on everything. I just like to grow and have fun. Oh, and happy holidays from Minnesota. Happy holidays here from Ohio. Some more Guinness. So, anything else you guys are doing for the holidays or getting ready for your greenhouses? So, I can't think of anything else. Oh yeah, microgreens. Anybody grown microgreens? I just harvested a bunch of broccoli. That's my favorite microgreen. And in the summertime, I like the radish microgreen. And I did try some lemon balm, and I don't think it likes the cold weather because I like to do lemon balm tea because it's really nice and calming. And in the cold weather, I'm not getting the height on them like I was in the summertime, so I'm going to have to put them underneath some lights. I do have a 4-tier growing tray that I got from Vigo Gardens that works out really well, so I think I'm going to try the lemon balm in that. And you know, the mild and spicy microgreens, everybody's grown them, so I've been trying to grow some different things. I did some sunflower shoots, and those went off pretty well, and the pea shoots are really good. Just make sure they don't get too long, because then they get stringy. Oh, I'm glad you like my new strawberry setup. You know, I was really worried when we had the sawhorses type setup that they started leaning. You know, I go in there, sometimes they're leaning over or over that way, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we get a big wind, everything's going to fall over. So once we put the posts in the ground and have them all nice and stable, it is so nice. I don't have to worry about anything falling over. And then now I have to keep the electric wire around the high tunnel because we have so many groundhogs and raccoons that have gotten in there. And then I also have a deer fence around it too to keep all the deer out, because before we had anything planted in the high tunnel and just built it, the deer would actually go inside of it. You know, go figure. Yep, I do have fun with my videos. I'm glad you enjoy them. Oh yeah, radish microgreens are very spicy, but they're really good. Yeah, you have to get people to like them. Oh yeah, I tried to figure, Really, your chickens didn't like the microgreens? Oh my gosh, my chickens will just eat about anything. A couple of years ago, we were doing fodder, which was really cool. We had a system set up and I had the horses and we were doing barley fodder. And that's where you just spread the grains out into a wide tray. It didn't even have to have nutrient water because there's so much energy in the seeds. And to get about this big, and I just cut it and feed the roots and everything to the horses when I had the horses at the time, and the sheep and the cattle and the chickens. They just went crazy for all that stuff. They get leggy, and I don't know why. For your microgreens, maybe they're not getting enough light, because I know I plant some of mine in the 4-tier tray and I keep the lights really close to them and then raise it up a little by little so they don't get so leggy. But I notice some of my other plants, if I don't have enough light on them, they get the legginess. Let's see.
Talk about your crazy wormwood.
Oh yeah, I ended up growing some wormwood. I had a herbalist ask me if I could grow some wormwood for, and so I ended up growing that. And it's a very stinky plant, but it started getting pretty big, so it's doing really well. And she wants me to keep growing it for her. And it has these really cool, tiny little flowers. So you can use it for medicinal purposes, and they also grow it for flower arrangements because it's really airy looking, and it adds a nice background when you're doing flower arrangements. So it has a dual purpose. And what else am I growing? I'm growing lots of parsley right now and drying it all. I did buy a new dehydrator, so that's really cool. So I've been doing parsley, and what else did I do? Oh, I did some basil. Oh, lemon basil. I did some lemon basil the other day. Oh my gosh, it smelled so good. And then we do a lot of Chinese cooking and Asian cooking, so I did some Thai basil. And I don't grow it all the time because all of a sudden it just starts growing, and it gets like 10 feet tall. So I dried a bunch of that, and having the new dehydrator made a huge difference with how well the herbs hold up and smell. Because when you buy them in the grocery store, it's like, oh, is that really basil? You can't tell. But when I did it my own dehydrator, it made a big difference. Yep. Let's see, wormwood nightmare before Christmas. And what other microgreens have I grown? I've tried micro basil is really good. This the Genovese type. It smells like licorice, and it's really potent. So you don't need a lot of it. So I'm making spaghetti sauce. I just have to put a little bit of it. But that's something hard to sell to customers when I'm doing the farm market, because people don't know really how to use it. And that's another thing. Like watercress, I grow a lot of watercress for the farm market. And a lot of people from England, they really like it. But there's other people like, well, what's watercress? And so I have them taste it. It's like, oh, that's too peppery. But then I give them recipes, and they're ready to buy it then once they figure out what you can do with it. Like I said, same with Swiss chard, because I like to make omelets out of it. And once I tell people what we do with it, and the mini bok choy, we have a lot of people buy that now because we told them how we cook it on the grill. You slice it in half, and you put a little olive oil and salt and pepper on it, and you grill it, and oh, it tastes so good. And then you use it in stir fries, and I like to eat it raw. I cut it up and put it in my salads. So that's the one thing about the farm market. You have to educate your customers on how to prepare what you're growing, because they're not going to buy it if they don't know what it is. So, and with like I said, with the watercress, I had a customer that gave me a recipe for Madagascar street food, and they use watercress. Oh my gosh, it's a nice like fritter, and it tastes so good. It has a little bit of tomato and onion in it, and I do have a recipe. I think I did do a YouTube video on that. So if you want to see how to cook it, but watercress, which is really nice about that, is it's the most nutritious green there is. It's more nutritious than kale and spinach. So that's something different to grow. So if you do grow different things and you have customers, you just have to educate them. Let's see, what else? What other microgreens have I grown? Like I said, like the pea shoots and the sunflower, and not too many other ones, because like I know the beet greens, but I like to grow the taller beet greens and sell them that way. And dandelion greens, those have become a big seller, especially with the roots on them. People really like that. So, well, let's see. Now, how large is my farm? Well, my greenhouse is 5,000 square feet, and the rest of the farm we have 120 acres, And so most of it is in woods, but I do have the pastures for my grass-fed cattle, and then we have our hay field. So we're able to produce enough hay to take care of all of our cattle. And so it's a nice little farm. It's small compared to what everybody has around here in Ohio, but we are able to make a living. And this year we are going to do some maple syrup because we do have quite a few maple trees. Because in the back part of our farm, years ago, back in I think it's from 1930s to 1970s, when a tornado came through, there was an old Girl Scout camp. And it's an older growth, so there's lots of big maple trees back there. And it's pretty cool because the tornado went through, but it left a couple of the old pavilions and a couple of the old outhouses. So it's cool, and I can see and I also have an old water pump, a regular old water pump where you have to pump it. That's up there. It needs new seals, so it's kind of cool area. So we want to do some maple syrup. Let's see. Anything else? Gotta go to sleep. Night, night. Well, you guys have a good weekend too. And if there's any other questions, just let me know. And if there's any videos you guys like me to do, just leave me a comment, and I would try to do something to help or answer any questions. I mean, I'm not the expert. I just like what I do, and I like to share what I've learned and my experiences. And everybody does things a little bit differently. So. What type of animals do I take care of? Well, right now, I just have my cattle. I have my ladies. I'm in the market for a new bull because I had to get rid of George because he was getting a little bit too old and a little bit too antsy and jumped the fence a couple times on me. So I have to get another bull. But I have Hereford cattle. I like the Herefords because they are nice and docile and easy to work with. I always had good luck with them. And the other animal I have here on the farm right now is a dog. It's Kian, my Australian Shepherd, who helps me herd the cattle in. Over the years, I had horses, and that's how I started off with getting into animals, as I had horses when I was 15 and older. So I got rid of them a couple years ago. And we raised lambs and sheep, and then we had a few goats. And I'm sorry, I forgot about my ladies. I do have 6 laying hens. And then this summer, I raised, in a couple different batches, I raised 60 meat chickens. And I raised Rainbow Rangers. I don't like the white broilers. I like the Rainbow Rangers because they grow a little bit slower and they have more of a chicken flavor and they're a little bit easier to manage. So those are the animals that we've had. And of course, we had a few cats here and there, but currently we don't have any cats. So we had one in the house for a while, and then we had a couple outside to take care of the mice. So. Yeah, lots of animals over the years. Okay, what time does your day start and when do you pack it up? My day starts usually about 6:30 in the morning, and then it ends, it just depends on what I'm doing. In the summertime, it doesn't end till like 9 o'clock. Now here in the wintertime, it usually ends about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's not so bad. I've slowed down a little bit. And so it's been a little bit more fun. Trying to enjoy the farm more, go for more walks, because we're not just all flat land. We have some nice hills. So I walk up to we call it the Girl Scout Camp Hill, because we have an old pine tree forest that was planted in the 1959 and 1960 by the FFA from the Crestview School District. So we have some old pine trees. So I like to go walk up through there. And then, like I said, the old Girl Scout camp. And then we have one area in the back of the property that's kind of a wetland. So that's kind of cool to walk back there. And that's one of my favorite places to go in the springtime because you have all the wildflowers. Okay, the entire season length of each crop cycle. And when you start strawberries and when does the season end? So for the strawberries, if you get bare root stock, it depends on where you're putting them. I put them in my high tunnel and it's a little bit warmer there, so I can start them in April here in Ohio. And then they'll go all the way through the first hard frost, and this year it was the end of November. And then my other crops, it just depends on the time of the year. So like I said, for lettuce, in the summertime, it's about 6 weeks to grow a head of lettuce. In the wintertime, it's between 8 and 9 weeks. So it just depends on how much light you have. And since I don't supplement light, because I want to have a small footprint and I don't want to have lights on for everything, I do have some lights sometimes over my tomatoes, and that's about it. But the greenhouse, I grow all year round. I'm able to keep it going, keep it heated, and keep my plants going. Spruce trees, no, we have white pines. We have a lot of white pines on our property. That's what the FFA and the Girl Scouts planted on the Pine Tree Hill. It's all white pines. And they're still doing really well. There's some that are really nice and big. They do thin out themselves. And so the other day I had one that was dead that was kind of close to the driveway going back to the greenhouse, and we had a big windstorm. And I went back out the next day and the whole tree had fallen over the driveway, so we had to move that. But the other trees that we have on the property is we have a lot of maple trees and walnuts, because we are down here by the Vermilion River. We have a ton of walnut trees. So in the fall, when you go to walk down the lane to go feed the cattle, it's all walnut trees there. So you got to be careful how you walk, because they drop all their fruit. Yep. Sip of my beer since I'm sitting here rambling on and on, talking away. So any other questions, guys? Oh, there you go. That's true, Chuck. Everybody's hydroponic system will differ based on the environment. So like you said, the best expert is the person working in that environment. Yep. So everybody's system is different, and everybody's area is different, and what light you get. It just all depends on where you're at and what your water source is. Yep. Well, I'm glad you like me sipping my beer. Yep, I've always been a beer drinker. So anything else? Oh, the tariff has affected my operation? Not that I know of. I'm sure. See, I always buy my nutrients in bulk, so I haven't bought any for a while, so I'm not sure if those have gone up or not. I really couldn't tell you. So, let's see. Oh, tap the walnut trees. Yes, we did tap. Yeah, we did tap the walnut trees a few years back. Oh my gosh, the syrup was so different than maple. It was really good to use on desserts and that. But we have to be careful, because my one daughter is allergic to nuts, so we had to make sure we processed it on separate equipment and made sure everything was clean before we did the maple syrup. But yeah, the walnut syrup is really good. And I guess there is a sort of a market for it. I'm not sure about filtering it, because I know there's some issues with filtering it before it goes into the bottles. Oh yeah, it's pectin that's in it, yep. Okay, Chuck, well, thanks for hanging with us. I appreciate it. And you guys have, tell Darlene Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll hopefully get together this summer. So I can't think of anything else. So, well, guys, I think I am going to head in and go finish my beer. And I'm so glad you guys came and hanged out with me. You know, it's kind of fun talking with you and seeing all the comments. And I'm glad you guys were able to join me. And if you want me to do this again in a couple months, let me know, and I'd be more than happy. Maybe it'd be warm enough I could do one outside, because I love sitting outside in the evening and enjoying the weather. So you guys all have a happy new year and a prosperous new year. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, but I'm sure most of you guys have. So I really appreciate it, and thank you for all your support over all these years and all your questions and comments. It's just really been wonderful. So you guys have a good one, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks. I got another video coming up, and I'm going to keep trying to put things out. And if there's anything you guys want to see me do or talk about, just shoot me a comment, and I'll go ahead and try to get something up to help you guys out. And I know you guys have given me lots of good comments and advice, and I really appreciate that. So you guys all have a good evening. Love you all, and take care.